Okay, so you guys know how being petty is like my spiritual gift, right?
Welcome to a new segment I'm calling That's Not Biblical.
Thank you for your contribution, man. Now,
Hello.
hello, everybody.
I almost said good morning, like it really almost did.
It is definitely
Not on-
not a good morning.
No, I'm almost ready for bed. Like this is
Mm.
actually, I set this is not important, but I did just learn that on my Apple Watch that I could set up a alarm to tell me when it's 45 minutes from when I should be going to bed.
Do you don't remember to go to bed?
No, it's like the amount of sleep I told the phone or my watch that I want to get every night.
Ah,
I need to go to bed by this time. And so last night I was like out at a brewery and it was like, you need to have 45 minutes to go to bed. And I'm like, well, that's not
I feel like
enough.
that would just add anxiety.
I got super anxious. I'm like, all right, everybody finish their beers. We gotta go. I need to go to bed.
My mom, aka my watch, is telling me I need to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm 30, almost 37, but I need structure because I'll just, swipe on TikTok or something all night. Anyway, hi, I've missed you. How are you?
Hi. Are you talking to me or are you talking to the people in the chat?
I'm talking to you, but I love all of these people too. Hi, everybody over there.
Yes. I've missed you as well. And I'm sure everyone's noticed we are sans Abby.
We are
tonight.
I already saw a comment over there talking about sending some hugs to our Abby. Abby lost her mom this past week, and it was a couple weeks, with hospice and stuff, and so it wasn't a surprise, but really painful for her, and she's having a tough time right now. She's also, as you all knew, she was moving away from me. And so that was what, this episode was going to be like right before she was moving. She was actually thinking about being here at my house with me because they were going to be like mid-pack. So they had to leave a little faster than they wanted to, not really say goodbye here. She's in Wisconsin. She's moving to Illinois, from Kentucky. So it's just kind of, it's a lot. So
it's a lot.
We love her very much.
Yes, we miss you, Abby. We love you, Abby. And I've lost a parent, and I know how hard that can be. So just sending all the love and prayers for Abby.
Absolutely. And I see so many good comments already in here. We'll have to definitely pass those along to her. I know she made a video. I just saw a few minutes ago, she posted a video on TikTok today.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch it.
Letting people know. And she said at the end of it, if dark humor is not your thing, that's how I'm going to have to grieve in a little bit. You can go ahead and unfollow now. And so April and I talked a little bit, like, should we do the show, like lighthearted, whatever. We're like, you know what? Like, we didn't talk about this with Abby, but if Abby found out that we didn't do the show, I think she'd be mad. Didn't talk to her. She probably would. And if we were being all like mushy and sad, she'd be mad too. So we're just going to be as like cringy as we can today. Mm-hmm. She can listen to it this week and maybe she can laugh a little bit at her friends being dumb.
Yes. Maybe. Hope we can bring some humor.
I see one comment about it and then we'll move on. But what we can do for Abby, DoorDash gift cards. If you want to do something for Abby, like tangibly, please reach out to me and I'll make sure that I facilitate that. Not to be super Christian-y, but hands and feet, right? If we want to do the hands and feet.
Yes.
And love on Abby, you please reach out to me and I will make sure that happens. I'll connect that. So thank you.
I feel like I should start singing, but if we got the body.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
His feet going. I'm going to raise our hands with her.
Do you know what my favorite verse? Now I can't remember where it was, but like in my defense of doing like missions, like I used to do, was how beautiful are the feet of those that take the good news? I'm like, yeah, that's scripture, right? How beautiful are the feet. Now, will you give me some money so I can fly to Peru? Like that's doing these presentations.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. So it is just me and April for like the next minute, but
yes, it is. Segue, but we have a special surprise guest. We thought about doing it just the two of us. And then we're like, oh, well, we've got someone else here that we talk about a lot on this show anyway. And And so our special guest for the evening is my spouse, Beecher.
Who has been dancing and taking selfies in the green room. I've been able to see this.
Oh, it's so funny. I didn't know you could see me. Yes.
Yeah, we could definitely see you, Beecher.
I think I'm a little bit excited. I made
love
it out
it.
of the comments. I'm free.
I looked over into the green room and I saw you I'm like, oh. You're just looking
I'm
so
just used to
cute.
that now, so I didn't even think anything of it.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, and there's go. There's a happier one. But yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
I love, we have said a few times that we probably weren't going to have guests on here. Like we all have our own podcast, and this was more just about like our friend group hanging out and being funny. And then it was like, well, Beecher's part of that group, so we're not really breaking our own rules here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite. And yeah, if you're wondering, do April and I live in different houses? We do not. We're in different parts of the house because it's a bigger reveal, right?
I can actually hear kind of what Beecher's saying before I hear it in my headphones. Like I can't decipher. Yeah, slight delay. We don't live in a very big house, so this is a feat to do this.
When Abby was going to be here, I was thinking, how am I going to do that? My house is not very big either. So I'd be like, okay, go in the garage. You can be over there and I'll do it. There's some compliments about your shirt already. Your shirt is very, very cute.
Yeah, I've actually never worn this out, but I wear it every once in a while around the house. So
this is like more of a reason to watch instead of just listen. All of the people who listen to this later, because you can't see the cool shirt that we're talking about.
Or my cool camera moves. Everyone see, I'm on a laptop, so I can do this. When I have a deep thought tonight, everyone, it's going to in my face.
Beecher's already decided that, we decided that when Beecher has something to say,
they're just going to zoom in.
Oh, Beecher, did you have something to add?
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay. So it's the three of us tonight. And April, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we decided, we were like, Rachel and I literally were talking about this today, like just a few hours ago, like, what's going on in the world? What are we going to talk about? And there's a lot going on in the world, but we're like, let's just keep it lighthearted. And so I think you had mentioned a video that Beecher and I made that we posted sometime in the last week. And so it's like a cringy Christian parody. And so we thought, let's just talk about cringy Christianity. So before we dive into, we're all evangelicals or former evangelicals, recovering evangelicals, if you will.
Yes.
That we all have cringy stuff from our past. So we're going to talk about stuff from our past, cringy Christian stuff from our present, the cringy Christian future.
Oh gosh, can it just never be a cringy Christian future? That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. So first, to start us off, I am going to play the video, and if you're listening, it's fine because it's just a song. So what happened is I do a series on TikTok called Things I Saw Christians Post on Facebook, and one of the posts that I showed was a grandma who wrote, "Look at this beautiful drawing of Jesus that my granddaughter did. It's so beautiful, blah, blah, blah." But it was of Bruno from Encanto. Like the "We Don't Talk About Bruno," and she thought it was Jesus. And so as a result, there were like hundreds of comments under a specific thread of people basically writing their own lyrics instead of "We don't talk about Bruno," making it "We don't talk about Jesus." So we took some of those comments and then added our own lyrics to create the full song of "We Don't Talk About Jesus."
It's a doozy.
Without further ado,
Because we got so many requests, here is the 3-minute version of We Don't Talk About Jesus.
We don't talk about Jesus, but it was my wedding day.
It was our wedding
We were
day.
drinking water, Jesus went and he turned it to wine.
Jesus turned it to wine.
Jesus walked in with the holiest grin.
Ba-da-dum.
Are you telling God's story or am I?
I'm sorry, Major, please go.
Jesus said I came to reign.
We're gonna fight Caesar.
No, not like that, let me explain.
But I wanna fight Caesar.
Turn the other cheek, okay?
But that's a bore.
We don't talk about Jesus. We don't talk about Jesus. Women lived in fear that their skin caused stumbling. Men gouged your eyes, I heard Jesus mumbling. Lots of men in power wanted Jesus off their land. The cross a heavy lift by a man so humbling. Always left apostles in the theatros fumbling, wrestling with the love that they couldn't understand. Do you understand?
7-foot cross carried on his back. When he called Saul's name, it all went to black. Yeah, he sees your memes and cringy parodies.
We don't talk about Jesus. We don't talk about Jesus. Said fish would multiply the next day, fed.
He said, love your enemy, so they wanted him dead.
He said I would disown him, and just like he said, our fate was sealed on the day that Jesus bled.
He told me that the life of my dreams would be promised as long as I tithe.
No, he didn't say that.
He told me that church power would grow by exploiting the marginalized.
No, he didn't say that either. He told me that the church of my dreams would not let me speak. They're Paul's Theo brothers. If I could see Paul
Hey,
now.
sis. Paul wants
Oh,
not
I
a
have
sound
words for Paul
out of
now.
you.
If I could see Paul now. Jesus. Yeah, about that Jesus. I really need to know about Jesus. Feel like the church got away from Jesus.
Jezebel, your pastor's here.
Time for sinners.
I mean,
There you have it, folks.
a standing ovation for that. The production value. Y'all put some work into that.
Yeah.
It was definitely effort. I annoyed Beecher. I was like, Beecher, I was a little bossy about it.
Yeah.
we gotta
I was
do
like,
it.
we could watch a movie tonight. It's like, or we could record Bruno. I'm like, that's 3 minutes long, and like, oh my gosh, I gotta get the lights and this, and so no, we definitely went around it, and I kept being like, and I think it was Christine in the comments was like, it's the perfect mix of Christian cringe, satire, and good deconstruction points. And the whole time I'm like, what is this? What is this song? Like, I can't figure out. I can't
That's been
figure
my
out what it
favorite.
is.
My favorite thing. Like people who follow me already or follow us already, like totally got it.
Yeah.
But it obviously landed on some people's For You pages who don't know who we are. And some people were so confused. They couldn't tell if it was like an actual Christian parody, if it was pro-Christian, if
Yeah,
it
when
was
we're
sacrilegious.
when we're
Like,
belting
what is
out-
this?
When we were belting out on the day that Jesus bled for our sins or whatever, on the day that Jesus bled, I'm like, we could totally be at an evangelical church singing
Absolutely.
an awful parody right now. Like that totally fits there. And then there's other parts. It's
The
yeah.
Paul stuff is where we
Oh my
lost
gosh.
the real Christians.
I laughed. I was like laughing, giggling the whole time. The tuna fish made me laugh out loud. You come across the screen like, no, he didn't say that, made me laugh. But when Beecher said, Paul wants not a sound out of you, I belly laughed. Like that was like, this is my song right here. This is my favorite. Major applause for you. Am I surprised that some people didn't realize that you were making fun? No, not at all. They're so used to cringy things like that.
Right. There's some people that are like, I really like this, but I'm confused about the Paul stuff. What do y'all have against Paul?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Lots actually.
And so behind the scenes, April is a really good singer, was a worship leader. I hold my own, but we definitely got in some arguments because I apparently cannot hit the right key on the
It's like,
second
Beecher
we
kept
don't talk about
going
Bruno.
flat.
Oh
So-
yeah.
April's
Like,
getting so
Beecher.
mad. I was
Little
like, it's a
pitchy over
dumb
there.
video. I don't care.
I was
We're,
like, but
yelling at each
we're
other.
singing together, and if you go off, then I sound off, and I
Yeah.
don't want to sound off.
The dumbest
Seriously.
thing to be in an argument about is that we don't talk about Jesus. That's us. And we're like,
Yeah. That
really
causes a
frustrated.
real fight in your house.
Mhm.
is
Yep.
me.
No, it's true.
Well, that
Behind the
is-
scenes.
Is indicative of a lot of like the cringy stuff, taking a song and making it, of course, again, April and Beach were poking fun. But what was the song, April, that the girl made a video to, and then you ended up getting banned because of your
Well,
response?
I got banned because that was so dumb. I used to get banned for the dumbest reasons, but she changed the words to Lil Nas X Montero.
Yeah.
Instead of call me by your name, it was he calls you by your name. Like he calls you by your name.
Oh, it's the worst.
It was so bad. Yeah. And then that was the first that I did it, because then I was like, we're going to change. What if we did the reverse of that? Which was all I said about her.
Yeah.
And I got banned for bullying. But the reverse of that was, let's change Christian songs and make them secular. Yeah. So instead of God's Not Dead by the Newsboys, I changed it to Tupac's Not Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
they didn't like that. I
got banned.
They banned you. I remember when she made that, though, because there were so many people that were like, you're being so disrespectful to Lil Nas X, like, by doing this.
Right, because that song's literally about, like, his religious trauma and, like, reclaiming that.
But why do they always take, so, like, there's, like, isn't there, like, a CD set for, like, kids where they've taken them and made them, like, Christian popular songs?
I mean, there's Kids Bop where they make it just, like, kidsy.
There's a Christian one.
I think there is, yeah.
I know there's, like, an adult Christian one called, like apologetics or something, where they actually take secular songs and change the words of it. It's like Weird Al, but Christian.
It's not funny.
And it's not funny. No, it's not funny. It's like actually try to be Christian.
Oh my gosh.
And then there was that other group of like those kids that did another Lil Nas X song of Old Town Road. Did you see that one?
I don't remember this one.
It was what did they say? They're gonna and there ain't no one that can stop our Lord. He's gonna rule forevermore.
Oh God, it's so bad. Why can't they ever write their own songs? Like ever. Did you ever rewrite any songs, April, in your cringy days?
Only when I'm sure I did, but the only one that I remember was redoing the Spice Girls to make it Christian so that I could dress as the quote unquote mission girls for Halloween. So
you were actually going as the Spice Girls?
I mean, in my heart I was, but I wasn't. They told me I couldn't dress as the Spice Girls because they were too worldly. So I literally invented an entire fake band called the Mission Girls. And I wore Spice Girl shoes because I have like 6-inch tennis shoes like that are on platforms just like they did. And I wore those and I dressed just like Baby Spice. I had a blonde wig, high pigtails, the whole nine. But we were the Mission
parents
Girls.
It was the Mission Girls.
I think my parents really knew because my parents were actually okay kind of with us going as the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
It was the children's pastor. I was like, that's a bad witness to the other kids.
When I was in, I think, 7th grade, I bought the Matchbox 20 CD for my friend, but I had to put it in a Stephen Curtis Chapman CD case so that his mom wouldn't know that he had the Matchbox 20 CD.
That is so genius.
I need to text him and ask him if he remembers that. He's like,
what did you buy a Stephen Curtis Chapman
just had
CD?
Them
you just had it.
Oh,
you were fine getting rid of that one.
So bought the Matchbox 20 and that was back when and I haven't bought a CD in so many years. I have no idea if they still do, but there was like a booklet in the front, like all the lyrics to every song and pictures and stuff. So I got to keep that. I was like, that's cool to keep all these pictures of Rob Thomas.
I remember when I would buy a new CD, I would or if I was at a friend's house and they had like a CD that I wanted, like New NSYNC or Britney Spears or whatever, I would go to like where they would have the thank you on the inside of the CD little pamphlet to see if they thanked God. Because if they did, then I could use that with my parents to convince them to let me buy it. I was like, they're Christians, Mom.
Oh my gosh.
Bad.
Half the time it worked though.
What's your favorite or your least favorite? I guess it'd be like cringy, either Christian song or like worship song or just like CCM. I can I'll never be able to get past Sloppy Wet Kiss. Never.
Wait, like the Sloppy Wet Kiss version or the whole song in general?
Because of the Sloppy Wet Kiss version, I can't handle the whole song.
Oh, so you're an Unforeseen Kiss fan?
We sang when I led worship, we sang Unforeseen, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just that cringy.
Yeah.
I always knew Unforeseen. I didn't even know Sloppy Wet Kiss until later. But if you think about it, Unforeseen is a little more like harassment level
Yeah,
than
there's not
Sloppy
consent.
Wet. Yeah,
Yeah.
Unforeseen, there's no consent.
Sloppy
Okay,
Wet.
they're both bad.
Oh my gosh.
What other songs? Any ones that make
I
you
mean,
cringe?
I am a friend of God is pretty awful.
It's
Beecher, that was
terrible.
mine. You stole that from me.
What do you mean?
Beecher,
What?
I mean,
did
like,
you
I
steal
always
her
complain
song?
about that song. I don't
It's-
remember you complaining about it.
Okay, well, there's also a song that says "Set down your old flames," and it sounds like you're setting down your like ex-boyfriends. Or
That's
just
girlfriends.
like
That's
setting
the
them-
the New Wine song by
Which-
Hillsong.
when New Wine first came out, I loved that song. It like made me
Stop.
weep. I did. I was like, that was my like last year of kind of going to that church that I went to after I left my
Mm.
one. And I was in the mega church I was going, and they played New Wine on this one day, and I was like, I like came home and learned how to play it, and I would like sit here at my piano, crying, singing New Wine. It happened.
What did you do when you got to the bridge? I lay down my old flames. I could never not think of exes.
I've literally never thought about that until this exact moment.
Really? Because I thought about it immediately when I first heard it. I was like, this song is stupid. It immediately took me out.
We have a comment about Good Father. Yeah, super cringy too. I
Mm.
did not like Good Father.
Yeah. No.
No.
Not good.
I'm a Friend of God was like not even like well written.
No, I am a friend of God. I have seriously gone on a very long soapboxes about how, even before I deconstructed, about how much I hate that song. It was like, we sound so needy. Like, oh, look, I'm a friend of God. Ha ha. I got a friend.
Friend.
Yeah, he called
Did
me
he?
friend. It just sounds so
Did he call us his
needy.
friend?
I don't know, but I just
I don't
picture
know.
us
I
being
didn't
like
exist
sinner's
back
prayer.
then, so
I picture us sinner's prayer, like, dear God, please, and God just like, okay, friend.
Like now you're his friend,
are we a friend or are we children?
right? Because you're not supposed to be friends with your kids, right? Isn't that what they
Right.
say?
No, you're not.
No, you're not supposed to be. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Somebody said Jesus Like a Lover song. What is that?
I don't think I know that song. I will say one song that I've also always disliked is Indescribable. I don't
Chris
really have
Tomlin.
indescribable, unattainable or something. This is something you know
them by name.
Yes.
You
I don't know
want
what it is about that song. I honestly, that one I think we overplayed just too much.
Any Chris Tomlin
Too
song we
much.
overplayed, right?
Yeah, it just killed me.
I will say though, the song "Our God Is an Awesome God." You all remember that one?
Yeah.
That one was like the first worship song that I remember like belting in the shower. Like if I only knew like a couple lines, so it would just be over and over for like 15 minutes. My parents would be like, "Can you learn another lyric?"
I actually love that song still.
No,
like
I
this song
still
still
like it too.
slaps. Also, slaps.
It was awkward.
I'm clearly a millennial. No, but I love that song because I would sing the echo part. It's like, our God is an awesome God. And then go off, the little harmonies.
Yeah.
I like
You were showing off in the shower singing that song?
No, in church I was showing
In
off.
church.
In the pews. Singing loud enough for people to hear me.
Garrett mentioned Shout to the Lord over there in the comments. That was Beecher. That was probably my first song that I like sang in the shower and like worship to. Again, I grew up Baptist, so we didn't like raise our hands and get into worship. And that was probably the first song that I did. That's her song. I was like, Shana. I loved Darlene Check. Was that her last name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like loved her. And I thought, yeah, I tried to be her over there.
Oh, I could sing of your love forever. Yeah.
Terrible.
Katie said that.
That's like the song that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
It never ends. That's the thing, like that one, or like going back again to I'm a Friend of God. Some of the Good Father, they legitimately just repeat themselves and then sometimes these songs have the same verse and they just do it twice. Sometimes they don't even write a second verse. I'm like, oh, and Holy Spirit, that one. You guys know the song?
Which Holy Spirit, you are welcome here.
Holy
Yeah.
Spirit.
Yeah.
That one repeats so much too. And I'd be like, leading it on stage. And people loved it. And I mean, it was nice. It was
That was one of those you could really build up and then bring it
Yeah,
down and
bring
then
it
build it back
back
up
down.
and then bring it back down. All the things.
Yeah. What was your least favorite song to lead, April?
Probably indescribable. I did have to leave. I am a friend of God
Ugh.
once, and I was like, my heart was not in it. I was definitely a hypocrite that day.
There was one time, so talking about making secular music Christian, that I was working as a media director at the church. April's the worship leader, and she and I definitely pitched the worship band on including that Coldplay song. Shoot, what was the Coldplay song, April? It's really popular.
It's no
I
Saint
hear
Peter will
Jesus.
call
Yeah.
my name when I ruled the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whoa.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
actually times perfectly with Wake by Hillsong United.
We sang Wake too.
So we
Viva
would
la
sing
vida,
Wake. I
right?
would lead. Oh yeah. I loved that. It was probably really cheesy. But the thing is though, we didn't change any of the lyrics to the Coldplay song. We
No,
just
but
sang
like-
the Coldplay song.
Right, but we
With
still
Wake.
it didn't make any sense. It didn't
Viva la
belong.
vida.
But we lost our minds. We were like, we're so cool. We're doing this. We were like so excited to have like this 1 minute of a secular song in a worship song.
Where my pastor at my church, we played secular music as often as we could. He wanted it to be in everything. Like there are so many times a song will come on the radio or somebody's playing it and I'm like, oh, remember when I sang that during our whatever series? And some of my other friends would be like, why would you sing that song? Like I sang some weird songs you would not think would be played at church. And I don't even really remember how he like brought them back to, we had like we did have a series on like Ghost, I think is what he called it. And so there was all I can't even talk. And I did Florence and the Machine. I sang Pink. I said, we sang all this stuff.
Oh,
I think he just
cool.
like, I sang Adele. You can literally go YouTube and find the songs of the videos of me singing Adele at church.
Oh my God.
And I sound like 12 years old because I was like 22 and my voice was just higher and younger then. I think he just would like hear a song and he'd be like, hey, I'll make a message around this. Can you sing this? So I did.
That's so
I sang
funny.
Zombie. That was probably the
Oh
one.
my
I
God.
You
definitely
know
sang
what?
Zombie at church.
Fun fact: Zombie is my go-to karaoke song.
Is it? We need. Well, when you come up and we go to Tokyo Kitty,
Well, two. I've got
can do
two.
it.
That and Baby Got Back.
mine is Fancy by Reba McEntire and Don't Let Go by In Vogue. Those are two very different songs, but those are my two go-tos. Fancy, I sang Fancy in karaoke when I was a kid. Like I was like 8 years old singing it.
Wow.
Why? My mom, I'm like, did you guys not tell me this was about a hooker? Like they never told me that. And I didn't understand the song.
I'm not familiar enough with the song.
With Fancy?
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
heard it. I don't know it very well.
Are you guys joking?
No, you've already got onto me for this
I have.
months ago. Yes.
I have TBI.
I know you do. I know you do. Abby definitely laid into me for this, for not liking Fancy. So
Sorry, I forgot about that.
it's fine.
I will say I remember in middle school going to a youth group, my friend's youth group, and they sang Bring Me to Life by Evanescence
Oh,
as like
yeah.
a worship song. And then we were all like, wake me up, like screaming. And everyone's like mad that we're woke. And I'm like, I don't get it. But no, it was fun.
They played that song, I remember, at a lift camp I went to in like Panama City Beach, and we thought it was the coolest thing.
Oh, I
that
thought
they
it was
played
amazing.
that song.
Although, I mean, I remember singing it kind of thinking like, how does this apply to my faith? Okay, I guess I'm asking God to wake me up. I'm feeling, yeah, like going, yeah, it was pretty epic.
What other cringy things did we do, April? You got some examples for us?
Yeah, like on my actual life.
Yes, go for it.
So many things. Oh, I wrote some things down. At the church that Beecher and I served at together.
I was employed.
You were employed, but you also served well above 40 hours a week.
That's true.
They, for baptisms, and at the time I honestly I just didn't think about it. But for baptisms, they would have everyone wear the same t-shirt. And on the front, the shirt said, I died in this shirt.
Oh no, that's bad.
Mhm.
And then on the back, I think it said like now fully alive
Mhm.
in Christ or something. But literally, like people would walk or like they would just wear these shirts like that weren't getting baptized because they got to keep the shirt. So there were people walking around the mall with a shirt that said, I died in this shirt. It was very confusing.
That's so weird.
So weird. Cringy. Anything else you have, Beecher?
I mean,
I've got a laundry
yeah,
list.
I've got
Oh,
plenty of
Beecher,
things.
you did a True Love Waits video for your youth group.
Yeah, no, I was so like so many of mine, once again, I was always like the good Christian boy, quote unquote, who was good with a camera. So they'd be like, "Oh, Beecher, we're doing True Love Waits. Can you go around and interview all the pastors questions about dating?" And I watched it back today. It was so cringy. It was one of the first videos, and they're all like, what age should you start dating? And it's like asking the pastors, and you see the pastors like actually kind of like have a hard time because I'm realizing now like the church and sex just like they don't want to answer it, but they're like
Yeah.
16, and someone else is like, when was your first kiss? One the like choir leader was like 12, and it was like super awkward. But yeah, so I did that, and then one of the first videos I ever made with a camcorder, my parents gave me a camcorder. It's a video where I'm the only actor in it. I'm sitting on the couch and someone calls me and says, "Hey, you going to youth group tonight?" And I say, "Nah, I think I'm just going to stay here and watch TV." And then John Mayer's, "We're just waiting,
Oh my gosh.
waiting on the world to change." I put the camcorder in front of a TV and recorded for like 2 days, like just all the worst footage, like war, people like starving, like violence. And my character sitting on the couch watching it. And at the end, I turn off the TV and I call my friend and said, "Hey, actually, I think I am going to youth group." And then I walk like slowly away.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I'm changing the world. Go to a little First Baptist youth group.
And your church, did your church play that for youth group?
Yeah, in the youth group.
Played it in
Ended
the
up
church.
playing it.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that like sometimes those like something like that? I don't have like a specific example, but I've seen things like that, obviously, right? Like there's a reason we figure out that we should have done this thing. It was always going to church. It wasn't like accepting Jesus or anything like that. It was like, you know what? I will go to church on Sunday with you. Like that's always what it was. It wasn't feeding people or like, you know what? I realize I should.
Oh my gosh.
care for
I just remembered something so cringy that I did.
Oh geez.
Since my dad died, there was this obviously I met Beecher at Regent Christian College, and some group came in that was not part of the school. They were doing a film competition for a scholarship, and I was a poor student. So I was like, yes, I'll do a scholarship. So my friend was like, I don't know, me and my friend came up with this idea, and I was the actor, but I was acting like as myself, but like kind of fictionalized. But it was about a girl losing her dad, and then she like starts taking drugs to cope because she's in so much grief and like is like so lonely and so tired that at one point there's a shot of me throwing the Bible in the trash, and then it ends where I'm just like so down on and like I'm using actual pictures of my dad in it, which is, and I'm actually crying because I actually like this was raw and fresh. It was only like a few months after my dad had died, and I at the end I look at the Bible and I do this big sigh and I pick it up, and then I go outside for the first time that day, and it's sunny and there's a bird flying. And I freaking won the film competition with that, by the way.
Bad.
I won $1,000.
Because you cried on camera, probably.
Probably. And probably because they were like, "What's your inspiration?" I'm like, "My dad died."
Yeah. They can't not let you win, right?
Now it's sunny.
Did you guys ever do like the skit videos with the songs? Like we did Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yes. Turn around.
So Beecher looks confused. So
my youth group definitely did that.
So it's like I was one of the sins. Of course I was, right? So we're all dressed in black, and like on every turnaround we turned around, and it's like alcohol, drugs, sex, pornography, there's whatever, like, and we're like circling this girl, and she's like tempted with all this stuff, and then Jesus comes and like I really need you tonight. And it breaks and we all fall on the ground and he saves her from all of us. It was very moving.
There was one. I've seen that. But it was
Lifehouse was
The
a-
Lifehouse
That's
skit.
the one. Yeah,
Lifehouse
Lifehouse.
is a later version of that because I
Really?
think like to kill or not what's it called? Total
Total
Eclipse of the
Eclipse, yeah.
Heart like wasn't current, right? So then people were like,
Yeah.
oh, we have a current song. They'll actually go with this too. We did both of them then.
We
Oh.
did both of those. We also always did, this one was more just like dance, but to Kirk Franklin's Stomp.
Stomp. Oh, that was a great song.
That was a great stomp.
Mm. My youth group did start a dance team, which I don't really know how they got away with that at my Baptist church. But they would do like these performances and it was like step. They weren't really dancing, you know, but they would do like Shackles by Mary Mary.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That's a great song. It really
It is a good
is.
song.
And it was like 15 white girls with no rhythm, like
Oh my
dancing
God.
on this dance team from the
That's probably why it was allowed. The lack of
Yeah.
rhythm was
They're
like,
like, they're not
okay.
going to move their hips. They don't know how. So it's totally fine. There was a girl that was like at one of the local schools, like for her foreign language, she was taking ASL. So she started like a interpretive thing in our youth group. And then like this deaf guy was like, none of those are signs. Like we did this whole song. And later afterwards it was like, not one of those. I just remembered that right now.
You're learning all the signs. You probably put in work to just
I'm like,
learn.
this like 15, 16-year-old girl was teaching us the signs to this song. I don't even remember what song it was, but we did in front of the whole church. It was a big church. We had like a deaf interpreter at every service, right? So I'm sure all the deaf people were like, what are you doing?
Oh my god. That's so funny.
April, what else you got?
One time I did when I was probably 8, maybe. Got my best friend, my cousin, and my brothers. My dad and my grandfather was the pastor. My dad was the co-pastor, so I had some pull, you know.
Yeah.
And for a Halloween special, because we did Hallelujah night. So instead of going out trick-or-treating, we did a Halloween special. There's like music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a drama skit that I pretty much came up with to Carmen's No Monsters.
Oh god.
And it was little, and it was me. I was the main girl, and there was another. My friend was also a girl. She was a girl. She was also the other main girl, and we'd be in beds at night. And during the verse, we'd be like, this like demon thing would come out, and they'd be like, "I am a temple of the Holy Ghost."
And you're 8?
Yeah, and I'd
that's
say, "Get
unreal.
out!" And I like rebuke the demon. We were also Pentecostal, so demons were like more cool, you know.
We didn't talk about demons at all.
How did a little eight-year-old April sleep at night? Like, were you just like, would it affect you? The fact
Because
you're
I had
acting
the
out
power
demons?
of Jesus. Because I was always told these stories too of like some guy being like, there's some pastor. It's like a very like fable type story because I've heard it from several different people and they all don't know who it is. It's some unknown person who a demon appeared to them in their bedroom one night. And the guy looked at him because he was so full of the Holy Ghost and so full of Jesus and just said, "Huh, it's just you." And then rolled over and just went right back to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember thinking like, I am not a good Christian because if a demon appeared in my room, I would not be able to be like, "Oh, it's just you."
Just you.
Just a demon in my room. That's
Y'all, I am
cool.
almost 37 years old, and there are some times when my foot's hanging off the bed, and I still bring it up on the bed because I'm like, just in case there is something under my Swear to God, I do it. I'm like, no. I see people in the comments over here talking about doing a joyful from Sister Act 2, a bunch of white kids doing that, which had to be hysterical because for the most part, we can't even like, you know, as a choir, step side to side at the same time. Oh my! But that is a great part of the song.
That is a good part.
Oh my gosh!
Do you have any other cringy things, Rachel?
I mean, I have some cringy like that. Like, you know, we did like these interpretive dances and weird stuff like that. Like on a not funny place. I talked about this on the podcast one time. I was fresh out of Liberty. So, you know, everything was Jesus. And with my degrees, I wanted to be in ministry. And so they were not going to put a woman on staff at the church, but they're like, you can like work with the worship leader's wife and do some stuff with her because she's had all these years in ministry too. And so she talked me into doing this thing with her. So I would have been like my early 20s. She's like in her 40s. And it was a book that we did with, I think, 4th and 5th graders, girls. And it was called The Princess and the Kiss. And it was about purity. And it was this whole like summer kind of VBS kind of feel thing. And then the last night we had like a ceremony for them, like, and there were desserts and drinks, and we had this presentation, and they got this rose, and then they got a picture, like a professional picture with their dad.
Oh,
not with their mom, with their dad at this purity thing. And I think back to that, and I literally cried on the podcast talking about it, but like that I did that. I'm like, it's the cringiest thing. It's the cringiest with this whole like, ceremony for them.
Oh my gosh. If I'm just trying to think of like now, I wouldn't post with Raylan. I'd be like, all right, we're having a long talk after this to deprogram all this stuff. That is so cringy.
At the time I was thinking like, oh, with their dads. Yeah. Cause their dad's their protector, but I'm like their protector of their purity at that point is what they're talking about. I'm like, where are the boys?
Yeah. Where are the boys?
Yeah.
I don't care about boys' purity.
You can still go find that book on Amazon because when I talked about it, I went to go see it. I'm like, is this still a book that's like out there? And it's like, it's been purchased so many times in the last like 20 years. It's all about, and it's geared for that age group. It's not for like high schoolers. It's for elementary age kids. So freaking cringy. On a lighter note, did you all have a ton of like Christian bracelets with like acronyms on them?
Like, are you talking about every single color, including the rainbow color of WWJD?
Well, and did you have any of the other ones though?
Frog.
What,
fully rely on God.
Fully rely on God. Push.
Pray
until something happens. I had all of those.
Oh my gosh, this is so over my head. I had the t-shirts. I wore a t-shirt that had a big cross that said debt counselor. And then I had another one that was like lifeguard or whatever. I don't remember all the ridiculous.
Hold on, you didn't have a WWJD bracelet?
I mean, I'm sure I had WWJD bracelet, but not frog push or whatever.
Frog
They're
push.
two different ones.
They're
It's
two
not
different.
frog push.
I would have had them like just layered up like this. Did you have the shirt with the cross on it? One cross, what was it? One cross, three nails,
forgiven.
It was like a math equation.
It's like one cross plus three nails equals forgiven. Yes. I didn't have that shirt, but I knew people that did.
Oh, I'm sure I had it.
I kept wearing those shirts thinking, I'm going to get persecuted any day now. I'm ready. Never came. Nobody,
listen, if you could still in 2022 purchase a shirt somewhere in downtown Gatlinburg, you're not being persecuted for it. And you could buy all of those shirts somewhere in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. Right?
I hit a point in my high school career where I didn't feel like I was saving enough people. And so I would every morning write a different Bible verse on a piece of paper, keep it in my pocket. And I told myself, every single day, I'm going to tell this Bible verse to at least one person. And sometimes it came up naturally. And other times it was like near the end of the day. And I would just like walk up to somebody and be like, God wants me to tell you this. And it'd be like some rant. Each time was a different verse. I don't know how many times I did it, but I'm sure that I ran out of good verses. And pretty soon I'm just, it's pretty. And that was all because there was another classmate who was bragging about how many people he'd saved. And I wasn't meeting that quota and doing something wrong.
Well, me and my brothers, when we were kids, we used to get in like actual fight arguments over whose turn it was to witness to the waiter or waitress at the restaurant. So
we never did that at all. My parents still like, we never did anything like that.
I didn't do that.
No.
Oh, okay. No. Just me then.
I have like, this is going to sound so ridiculous, but honestly, like one of my like claims to fame now here as a ex-evangelical is that I don't think that I've ever actually like said the Lord's Prayer with anyone.
Oh.
Like I've never led anyone to Jesus. Is that that's just a weird thing to say out loud now?
No, you're good. I don't think I actually have either. I think I can tell you plenty of stories where I really thought I was getting close and then it just didn't quite land.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad, but it's like, don't worry, that'll come back into play down the road, and they'll get saved in 10 years.
Yeah, because you planted the seed.
Yeah.
I planted the seed. I told
Paul
myself that pep talk
planted
a
and
lot.
Apollos watered, but God gave the
Mhm.
increase. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah,
I'd
no,
be like,
I definitely led some people in prayer. My brother though takes the cake because when he was 6 one time, my dad used Matt. He's like, "Hey, my son would like to pray for you." It's my brother who's 6, and so the waitress like can't say no to like a cute little
oh
kid.
my gosh.
So Matt leads it. This 6-year-old, I think he was 6, maybe 5, and so he's like, "Take my hand." So the waitress takes his hand, and she goes, "Now just repeat after me. Say, dear Jesus, I am a very bad person." And she said it. She said, "I'm a very bad person."
Oh my God.
God. Oh,
Funny.
And
my life.
And Matt at 6 years old led someone to the Lord right there. And
A very bad person to the
a
Lord.
very bad person. It's funny, but it's also really sad.
I know.
No, I even like when we were on missions trips and stuff, I was always like doing a bunch of things. I wasn't actually like the one sitting over there telling people about.
It's probably good. You were probably actually like helping build the house. Or
Yeah, we
doing
were
the things.
literally building things and doing medical care. Like I was over there doing that.
That's at least better.
A little bit better. I feel like if some conservative Christian person who hates me just can clip out that part where I'm like, I've never led anyone to Christ, they're gonna be like, see, we told you.
I don't think that's the piece they're gonna clip out.
Yeah, I say way worse.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like those guys I go after on Twitter, if they ever like made a compilation of me, like for their camp, they'd be like, oh, she's the devil. She is absolutely the devil.
Yeah, your WWJD is what would Jezebel do?
Oh, I like it.
I like it too.
I should
Reclaim
make
it. I mean, I still like Jesus though. I don't have a problem with him.
I will say, t-shirt wise, I did have one other cringy shirt I had to tell you about. I can't remember if I've still told you about this on the show yet or not. This company came out. They're not a company anymore. I've tried to find them, and they were called conservatees.com. And it was all of these conservative t-shirts. And I bought it kind of being funny, but I did wear it all the time. It was like a sketch of Dr. Falwell. And it said, I put the fun in fundamentalist. And I wore that shirt all the time.
That is actually kind of funny.
It was kind of funny.
If it's like ironic because
but it depended
not fun.
who was like seeing me. Like, and some people, they thought I was just wearing a shirt of Dr. Falwell and they were like proud of me for it. And I'm like, it's kind of a joke. It's kind of okay, whatever.
No, I like it. I like it.
I still have it somewhere. I'll have to find it.
Well, speaking of past, did you guys find some cringy Facebook posts from the past?
So I had challenged them to do a little search and deep dive of things we may have posted. And I, of course, I'm the one, it was my idea. And I went to go search, and I must have, like, every year in my memories, I must scrub them. I literally the only thing I could find was when I was this one post. This is not about Jesus so much as just conservatism, where I was heading home from Liberty and nobody was with me on this trip. So I did an 8-hour drive, and I said, thank God I have this book on CD with me. And it was Ann Coulter. And I was so excited about it.
Oh my God.
And I listened to it the way home. And I don't remember the book. I just remember like listening to her the whole way home. Like, yeah, you tell him, Ann, you tell him. And that I did find that one, but I didn't find anything about like,
I think
Jesus.
I've actually scrubbed some things as well, because I had a hard time finding things I remember posting that were cringe that I must have deleted when I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was awful. But I did find some.
What'd you find? What'd you find?
Oh, just some good old Obama bashing.
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. I also was, I was never one of those, like, I don't know. I'll just read a couple.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, here's, so you know how it used to be like, what are you thinking right now? Or it's like, you know how it used to be like April is or April blank, like you would fill in the blank. So this was one of those. It says, April needs change. And no, that is not an endorsement for Obama.
Was this for like 08?
That was 2009.
Okay.
So he would have already been president.
And you were pissed off about it?
Yes, I was so mad. I cried. I didn't post about crying, but I actually did cry. And here's another one. This was also in 2009. Obama's new healthcare plan really makes me want to beat up some sort of wild beast.
Wow. It made
Huh.
you that mad, huh? People having healthcare really pissed you off.
Wow.
And I probably wasn't even paying for my own healthcare here.
No, you definitely
At
weren't.
this point, you probably were
I was on my
not.
parents' healthcare. Oh, that's so stupid.
Somebody else said they cried when Obama got elected too. I didn't cry, but I did not vote for him, and I hate. It's so funny. I know I've said this before on here that I went from genuinely hating him when he became president to working on his campaign, the second one. Like I had a quick change.
You switched
I
fast.
fell in love with that man, and I still am to this day. When I found out he had COVID a couple weeks ago, I was like, Barack, like I love him.
I am a fan of his now. It didn't happen until after, like towards the end of his presidency, I was kind of like, well, also because we knew Trump was coming in.
Yeah.
And I was like, Obama doesn't seem so bad.
Not so bad anymore.
Well, April, speaking of social media posts and Trump, you never tweeted anything that involved his name, did you?
Oh, I love that lead in, like beat your nose somewhere.
Yes. So I think I deleted this
Beecher.
tweet because I was mortified. When this was like when everyone was being canceled for tweets, I was like, I need to go back and look at my Twitter because I know I've said some terrible things. So I go back. I don't think it's there anymore.
It's not.
Because I'm so embarrassed, but I'll just tell you. Do you remember Trump spoke at one of President Obama's like correspondence dinners? Like it was like right in the middle, like the birther movement and when the conspiracy. Anyway, I tweeted. This is what I tweeted. Say what you want about Trump, but he's sure making Obama sweat this correspondence dinner. God. And then I hashtagged Trump 2012.
No, you didn't.
You did.
I did. When I saw that tweet, I wanted to die.
Did you delete it?
I did delete it, yeah.
Did you screenshot it first, though?
I think I did. I think I sent it to my family. I probably should keep that screenshot just to be like, to show how far I've come. I kind of wish I wouldn't have deleted it. But
right. But for the record, he was at that point a reality TV star. I mean, nobody actually thought he was going to run.
No.
I mean, this was 2010 or 2011. But
and like Obama at the time, like Obama was still president.
I saw it like on my Facebook memories legitimately like in the last couple weeks from early 2016 that I posted this thing that said something like it was a meme that said I'm running as a Republican, I'm running as a Democrat, and it was like a picture of Trump and it said I'm running as a joke. And I said I can't believe I know people that are taking this man seriously. So at the beginning of 2016 I still thought there's no freaking way. Like there's no way. Little did I know what was coming. Beecher, did you find anything?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Go for it.
So I had this friend that was like, I don't even know how I necessarily became friends with him, but he had like the most he was a writer for Fox News and he had the most popular column, and his column was all about religious persecution. But of course, that doesn't actually exist. Right. So
not for us.
I would post, right. In America for white Christians, it doesn't. So I would post his articles, and here you go. This is August 30th, 2013. Nothing is more dreaded than the national government meddling with religion, John Adams. And then the article is feds forced churches to get baptism permits. And I've gone back and reread the article, and it was like 800 people all going to a public park and getting baptized in a river. And the government's like, maybe you tell us next time. And they're like, what? Tell you? And like they're freaking out. So,
that's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just a warrior, just once again fighting that persecution.
Yeah. So much persecution.
Of course.
2000. So here's a small plug for April and I's podcast, The Non-Binary Marriage. But anyways, it's called The Non-Binary Marriage, and we're talking about our dating relationship, and it was a really rough season for me. And so my Facebook in 2013, every other post is like, when you see the least, when you feel the least, is often when God is working the most. And then I'm like, God wants you more than he wants to fix your problems. Wow. I mean, it is not.
Wow.
I mean, I'm talking like 100 of these things. I'd rather be in a time of war standing next to God than standing in peace alone. Not the easiest to say, but so powerful. I mean, I could read a million more.
right now, I want peace.
Oh yeah, I would choose peace alone. Actually,
No war. No war.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it was
Abby's in the chat.
Abby is here.
Oh. Hi, Abby. Thank you for letting me take your place.
I feel like, Abby, was it you just the other day was telling me about a message that you were unfortunately hearing? And I think it was you. And that the pastor said something like, God is waiting to give you, but whatever it was like, God is waiting to bless you with this. So you need to like step up to it. And I'm like, that is so bad. Like, I don't understand where that even came from. But that theology, I'm like, so she's saying yes, it was her. It triggered me when she shared it. I was like, ugh.
They toe the line so much of like, God's gonna bless you and God wants you to be happy with. God doesn't want you like. It's not about being happy. Like suffer for God.
God is
want to be
waiting.
happy.
God is waiting to fix your circumstances. Is what it was. That's what it was. Now I'm like, well, why the hell is he waiting?
I know.
I don't.
Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it and I need it done, can you go ahead and do it?
I'm waiting on you to tithe.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You give all that money to the man telling you that God wants to bless you, and then
you know what I was taught though? Tell me if you guys were taught this. I was taught that God wouldn't really bless you for tithing. Like you would just get what you should get because the first 10% already belongs to God. Like you're just giving him back what is already his. It's giving above your tithe that's when God starts really blessing you.
Oh gosh.
That just made me think, oh my gosh, this is something that used to mean a lot to me. And I would like sit on this. And I think I've said this before. I have conflicting feelings at this point in my life about C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis has always meant a lot to me, but there's some problematic stuff in there. And Sixpence None the Richer, the band, got their name from part of Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, where he tells a story of a little boy that needs to buy a present for his dad's birthday. So his dad takes him out and gives him 6 pence to pick this gift out. So the kid picks out the gift and gives it to him. And then he's like, is the dad any richer for that gift where he gave the money to his son to get it? Like he's not. He was just he was getting it back from his son. So basically it's that we are no richer for what we have ourselves because God gave it to us. And we are required or should then give it back to him. But God is not made rich by us giving to him what he gave to us. That's where it came from.
Wow.
And so I used to be like, yeah, everything I have, God, you gave me all of this. So I'm going to give it all to you because you gave it to me.
That reminds me of
but that's odd, and especially now being a parent. Like if I give Raylan a toy, I don't want her giving it back to me, and not everything. I'd be like, that's interesting. Like it,
yeah.
Huh.
Take it up with Mr. Lewis because he wrote it and it moved me. Anne Lee Nash. So she started a band called Sixpence None the Richer, and I'm like, I always wondered where it came from.
Did y'all ever, when y'all sing that song, like, you give and take away? And we're like, I always felt weird about like singing about the taking away part, like in a happy way. I'm like, I don't know if I'm like really like cool with this.
Right?
I'm not celebrating having
you got to be smiling when you say give and then frowning when you say take.
Take away. That'd be the weirdest worship to watch on stage and be like, what are they doing up there?
That would actually be really funny. I don't know why it would be like if you actually did a skit where you just act out all the words.
I talked about it on a podcast episode a couple seasons ago of like my infatuation with Crystal Lewis when I was listening to like Christian music all the time.
Yeah.
And like people get ready, Jesus is coming, right? Was this song. And I remember now thinking as an adult, like she's like made a song about the rapture, which is kind of weird anyway. And then like the second verse is seriously like she had to sit down and write these lyrics out. Like, there will be a day will come, whatever, where they will hear, depart, I knew you not. Like she's like, and then she goes back into like praise and worship right after that. It's like, why would we be praising and worshiping? Haha, depart, I knew you not. Like that is weird. but I cried.
It
listening to
is
that one too.
just weird. That one used to give me chills. I'm like, God, it's coming back.
She
any
can
day.
sing. Let's be honest. That girl's voice
She's
is
like,
amazing.
she always reminded me of like Christina Aguilera, like the Christian Christina Aguilera.
She was. What we got over here. Early in our marriage, whenever Matt and I hit hard financial times, we always felt convicted about our tithing. Like if we tithed better, we wouldn't be broke. Yes, the church will always tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
If you are having financial problems, it's because you are not giving
If you're not
God
giving enough.
6 pence back to him. That's what it
Yep.
is. You're not giving it back to him. I do jokingly, like, we play cards a lot in my family. And whenever I'm like winning a game and people are annoyed with me, I always tell my family, I'm like, it's because I tithed. And I always say it's a joke because I actually have not tithed in a very, very, very long time. I gave up tithing a long time ago. My parents are always like, shut up, Rachel. What are we saying over here?
Literally right now, I just remembered a story. So my dad, I was in high school. My dad had me like doing like construction work, but really it was just like cleaning up a cabin that he was building. But I would work with this guy named Roger, who was like mid 40s, maybe 50s. He had a really hard life. You could kind of just tell it wasn't very financially like okay. And I was like eating lunch. He was eating lunch, and we were just talking. And I was telling him that he was like not well off because he didn't tithe. And it's like the cringiest thing now. I just thought of it. And he was like, actually, like, and he was like literally like, actually, I've done that. It doesn't really help make any difference. And I was like, well, and I'm like some 17-year-old punk kid that's getting paid by my dad. Oh, it's just crazy that I felt the need to tell this 45-year-old guy, because you aren't giving 10% to the Lord.
Well, that's because all of those like cringy Christian little snippets we were given as kids, we didn't understand life yet. And so we were like, that's why you have a 6-year-old like saying
you're a bad person. Yeah.
You're a bad person.
Yeah.
Like why you have a girl in college who's not paying for healthcare going off on Obama's healthcare plan.
Yeah.
And
Me.
You see someone on the side of the road, homeless, and you're like, yeah, they should have tithed.
Okay.
And it's like, that is so screwed up.
So stupid.
Can I just real quick before we go to our game?
Yes.
I saved the cringiest.
All right.
For last.
I'm ready for this.
Cringier than Trump 2012.
I wrote a book. I wrote a book and I sold this book at my dad's crusade. Like when my dad would go speak at places, my book was on the book table. I'm not joking. It's not like a big book. It's a little book. It's called A Dying Breed. Is there hope for the next generation?
How old were you?
This is my picture on the back right there. I was 19 when I wrote this. Very wise.
I would like to read this.
You will not be my friend after you read this. Like it is so bad. When I read this, like my skin, can I read you a couple snippets?
Please do.
Here's a couple, here's the open, right, of the introduction. I am part of a dying breed. At current rates, those like me will be extinct within the next 100 years. The deception of sin is destroying a generation with the potential to do great things for God's kingdom. So a little Christian there. Let me read you the last sentence of the introduction. I suppose this book could be a part of that warning. I have a passion for my generation to be freed of this liberal brainwash and finally see the truth. If no one else my age will speak out, then I will. And I did.
and you did.
And I have now left this. So as April, April Renning, disavow this book that April Renning wrote when I was 19.
You need to write a response book to that, like a response to A Dying Breed.
Yeah, you should. I actually would really love to read it because even though it would make me cringe, I cannot tell you how often in my own life, sitting at my desk while I'm working, cleaning my house, driving in the car, whatever, I start singing America Say Jesus, which is a song that April wrote. I swear on my life, it's in my head. I know so many of these words. Like, why do I know all these words?
Oh my God.
So I would probably love your book. Clearly, I'm really like in tune with the way that you write.
The song is at least like, I mean, super problematic, but at least has a fun jingle to it. You know, Rachel, like this is just.
Literally,
Andrew asked me to read the
Oh,
homophobic part.
it's awful. April, I wouldn't read it.
No,
It's,
no,
like,
Andrew,
here's
be a
the
good
thing.
brother.
April will be like, April a few times has been like, I don't know, I might make a TikTok where I read some of A Dying Breed, and she'll like read the passage. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, that's too bad.
It's that
like,
bad.
April, I'm fine with April singing America Say Jesus and
Yeah.
showing her receipts, and I'm like, this is it's I can't even read it all. It's wild.
It's so bad.
We
I
want
can't.
people to listen to the Heretics again, so we'll
Yeah.
leave that one out. But I will ask you to send it to me so I can read it later.
I'll send you some pictures
Real
of them.
fast, last question on The Dying Breed. Where did you sell this book?
When my dad would preach. Like, because my dad was an evangelist, so he'd travel and
Is it on eBay somewhere?
Oh,
No,
God.
I checked. I was like, this better not be out there. I mean, I'm sure someone out there has
I'm gonna
it.
set up a Google alert so I can like find it somewhere.
No, but the CD that I sang was on eBay that I
Well,
made when I
okay.
was 13.
Andrew said America Say Jesus does have a great jingle to it. It's a catchy tune. We were watching it when I was down at Abram Beecher's, and I was sitting on the couch next to April just singing every word too. I'm like, why is
Yeah,
this
that's
song?
the kind of friend I am. I made a joke to Rachel that the whole thing was one big ploy. My TikTok, me being part of the Heretics, that it was all just a ploy to get to be close enough friends with Rachel that she would come visit me so that I could put in the entire Jim Baker DVD and win her back to Christ.
And lead me to Christ. This whole thing was about leading me back to Christ. It worked.
That's like someone's actually said on that I was pretending to be a Christian. Like when I was a Christian, like I am a Christian, but like when I was super evangelical, that I was just pretending. It's like, why?
Yeah.
What do I get out of that?
I did. So my last episode of the Recovering Evangelical was about about being reformed, which, as you probably know, if you listen to anything I say, I really, really hate reformed theology. And so it was a really good episode, but it made me realize afterwards, like, that I always forget about the P in Tulip, that they genuinely, like, I know eternal security, but they don't think that if you are obviously one of the elect that you can fall into apostasy. So I'm like, that is why I think they tell us that we were never really Christians, because they're like, well, you couldn't not believe this way anymore. So you obviously weren't. If they're reformed, I finally figured out why they might say that to me, like on my videos and stuff. Like they genuinely believe that I was not elect.
Then my thing is, though, this is my thing with reformed people, though. If you're elect and you have no control over whether you're elect or not, why are they so douchey?
They're so douchey.
Just live your freaking life. I'm either elect or I'm not. Leave me alone.
That's what on the episode, my friend Neil that was on it, he said, you know, they always say, like, you know, you're leading people away from Christ. And he's like, I can't. I can't. If your theology is right, I literally can't do that. Like you guys are so inconsistent with your, anyway, we're not going to talk about reform because I really, really, really hate reformed theology.
Yeah. So for our last thing.
Yes. Beecher, do you want to tell us about this game? Oh, look. Oh, Beecher's they're zooming.
Yeah. Let's talk about this game. So what we've done is we each have 3 posts that we've found on social media, 2 of which are real cringy Christian posts, and 1 is fake, or one that we've altered in some way to make it different. So it's kind of like 2 truths and a lie, but with cringy Christian Facebook posts, not ones that we posted, ones that are just in the ether, that are just on the interweb. So Rachel, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I will start, but I will have to say, so I made this a little bit more Rachel-y than maybe you guys are. What I decided is because, you know, my April mentioned earlier, she does the videos about, you know, cringy or things she saw Christians say on Facebook. I fight with Theo Bros on Twitter. So I found some tweets from pastors on Twitter that are cringy in a these men are horrible people kind of way. And also all from today. So this is not going to go back. This is just from today. Okay, here's one. The majority of men couldn't care less what women have to say about masculinity. They are non-factors in the broader conversation, mere speed bumps on the way to patriarchy. That one? This one? God. What the gospel is, the good news of what God has done. What the gospel isn't, doing justice, loving your neighbor, the golden rule, lifting up minority voices, or feeding the hungry. And number 3, if you have to demand respect, you're probably not going to get it. But irregardless, I demand it from every woman that I meet. Which one's fake?
Oh my gosh. Okay, can you read the first one again, the speed bumps one?
Sure.
I want to make sure I get that.
The majority of men couldn't care less what women have to say about masculinity. They are non-factors in the broader conversation, mere speed bumps on the way to patriarchy.
Oh gosh. So we got speed bumps, number 1.
We got speed bumps. We got the gospel is what God has done. It's not doing justice and loving your neighbor. And the third one is, if you have to demand respect, you're probably not going to get it. Irregardless, I demand it from every woman that I meet.
I've seen 2 of these.
I've never seen them.
So I'm going to recuse myself.
The 2
but we have votes are saying
over
number
here.
2.
Number 2, which is the one of what the gospel is not.
Mm-hmm.
Beecher, give me a guess.
So I was leaning towards speed bumps, and then I saw them post 2 in the. I'm gonna go with speed bumps. I don't think speed bumps is real.
It is actually the last one that's not real. He did say, if you have to demand respect, you're probably not going to get it. I added the woman one, but he is the same guy that said the first one, and the one about what the gospel is not is a real tweet. And for those of you that are watching this, because you can't see this, obviously, if you're listening, the guy who said some of this is this guy. Patriarchy is inevitable, and it's like superimposed. Yeah, that's the pastor.
Gosh.
He's local here. His name is Michael Foster, and I'm coming for you, Michael Foster. Digitally online, I'm coming for you. Isn't this a great, just godly man?
Mm-hmm.
You saw those tweets, April. Do you know who that is? Does he?
I mean, I don't know him, but
as soon as you start looking at these Twitter things, you start seeing them all on your feed.
Honestly, need to start doing things Christians post on Twitter, because they're somehow worse on Twitter. Like Facebook, I feel like is like unhinged boomers.
Yes.
And then Twitter is more unhinged Theo bros.
They're my target. I got them.
Yeah, you're good.
I come for their necks. You're too nice for that.
I just read it. Yeah.
Beecher?
Right. Yeah, okay. I can go. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Here's number 1. Looking for an emoji in Facebook's list for a patriotic Jesus. Found 0. On a whim, I decided to look for an emoji for transgender. Found 2. What the hell is wrong with this world?
A patriotic Jesus.
Yep. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. All mine have to do with transgender. I'm non-binary, so this was fun for me. All right. Long before you knew about the transgender movement, long before you knew about drag queens, long before homosexuality came out of hiding, Satan had used Tyler Perry and his kind to invade your mind, your home, and your family with these satanic iniquities subliminally with the Medea character. They had the audacity to do it in the name of Christ. So Medea caused transgenderism, is what it sounds like.
They used they pronouns, though. So
true. They were respectful. All right. And then finally, so what exactly are the majority of transgender transsexuals? A bunch of gay guys conspiring to attract heterosexual men by disguising themselves as women and attempting to replace women.
I don't know which one is fake. I want all 3 of them to be.
Yeah. I'm going to say.
So is it patriotic Jesus not existing?
That sounds way too real.
Is it Medea, causing transgenderism, or is it that everyone that's transgender is actually just a gay man wanting to trick heterosexual men?
The 3. I think it's 3.
I think it's 3 as well.
The correct answer, the one that is fake, is the man looking for patriotic Jesus.
That sounded the most real.
You've got to screenshot these, because I got to include these on my next one.
Well, for the record, he was complaining about emojis, but I think he said something like he typed in church or Jesus or something. I added patriotic Jesus. I know. I just made it worse, but the rest, he was like, I looked for church and there was only one emoji and then this, but I just changed the first part.
Katie just said, why do hetero dudes just assume everyone wants to have sex with them? Here's the thing. They really do. And almost no one actually does.
So true.
It's
No.
so true. Most of us don't actually. Even hetero or hetero adjacent women, we don't either. Like we no.
Oh my
Nope.
gosh. Okay.
Oh.
I've got now I gotta figure out. I've been trying to figure out which ones to narrow down.
April, you had all this time.
I feel like I had one from Twitter, but I feel like Rachel, you probably saw this one. So I'm gonna exit, but I'm gonna read it after this just for funsies. Okay, so number 1. So these are all from Facebook that I saw, whether a comment or a post. The whole Bible is Jesus's words. That's 1.
It's literally not true. Okay.
No. Oh wait, where'd my other one go? Okay. Liberty only wins with Donald J. Trump and Jesus in charge. And finally, the higher the hands, the closer to God.
I mean, I've heard that so many times. So I feel like that, I mean, sure you can, the higher the hair, closer to God too. They say that in Baptist churches too.
The higher the hands, it just means worship, right? I'm confused.
Yeah, so like the higher you put your
So to recap, the whole Bible is Jesus's words, and liberty only wins with Donald J. Trump and Jesus in charge.
That feels way too real too.
And the higher the hands, the closer to God.
I'm gonna go number 1.
The whole Bible is Jesus's words.
I'm gonna go the higher the hands, the closer to God.
Beecher is correct.
Yeah.
So someone really did say that the whole Bible. That's the 3rd time this week that I saw a white dude, make the argument that the entire Bible was written by Jesus.
But hold on. Everything was created by God, and God and Jesus are the same. And so,
Can I just tell you guys,
write and say anything anyone's ever written or said?
You remember that crazy girl on TikTok
Triggered.
that said that to you?
That's what Demetrius talking about.
That's what I was.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Sorry.
Yes.
Trigger.
Okay, can I just say the higher the hands one? Why did your going on with your mic over there?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, the higher the hands, the closer to God. I just changed the words because I had a hard time coming up with myself. But the real one is actually the higher the truck, the closer to God.
Oh, that's bad.
There's a little Jesus in the sky and a girl holding guns by a truck.
Oh, that's bad. What was the Twitter one that you had?
Oh, yes. This one, someone asked on Twitter, like, hey, Christians, what would you do if you had evidence that Jesus never resurrected? Like, how would that change your faith or what you did? And this pastor responded and said, if the resurrection didn't happen, then death still wins. Sin isn't real, and I have no reason to care for the poor, reach out to the lost, or work on sanctification. As a result, I'm going to the orgy and doing whatever I feel like.
Wait, who said this?
A pastor, in response to, if Jesus never rose again, like, what would that do for your faith?
That pastor wants to go to an orgy.
So then what he's saying is what he wants to do is, go to an orgy and be sexual in that way. What he doesn't actually want to do is any of like the feeding poor people, hungry people, whatever.
If Jesus didn't rise again, he says, I have no reason to care for the poor, reach out to the lost, or work on sanctification.
This guy sounds like a winner. I mean,
this is why though. This is
the food kitchen on Sunday.
This is why so many evangelicals think that like all atheists or agnostics or people that are not Christian are bad people because they're not good people outside of their beliefs.
Right. And like the amount of people I know who are not Christian who are like good and good to the people around them. That like feed hungry people because they just think that they should feed hungry people, not because a being out in heaven is telling them to. And this guy would stop immediately if he
go to an orgy.
And didn't think. Andrew said, "Where's the Facebook event for the orgy?"
It's a scheduled orgy. Like it's just the one.
The orgy. Yeah.
And Katie says, yet another hetero dude, assuming people want to have sex with them. like the orgy would be cool with him.
Right.
No, sorry.
Maybe the orgy doesn't want you.
They've been waiting this whole time for you to finally get here. No. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can just see the guy like staying up late working, like, I really could be at that orgy right now.
Writing my sermon notes, but I
How would you feel to have your pastor up there like, you know where he actually wants to be right now? That's
orgy.
so weird.
I would actually probably appreciate a pastor that was like, hey, listen, sometimes we have fun sex in my family, like my spouse outside of just each other. I'd be like, oh, thank you for telling us.
I
Thank you.
could see that pastor really honing in on like the Solomon and his wives and David and his concubines. It's like, why does he keep preaching on that so much?
I was watching Sister Wives the other day, which I do
Oh.
often. Sister Wives is like my favorite show. And they were like playing this little game and they were asking trivia questions. And one was like, how many wives did King Solomon have? And they were all talking about how ridiculous that was, like to have that many wives. And like, this guy has 4 wives, and that sounds like too many. Like 700 is definitely too many.
How would you think he knew all 700 of their names?
No, one of the wives on Sister Wives made the joke like, you got like one night with him every couple of years.
Yeah.
Like he would literally
Not even
no.
that. Yeah.
Not even he didn't know. This got onto a weird. I don't know how we ended up here, but I don't know that we've ever had an episode where we weren't talking about sex at some point, even if the
That's
episode
true.
wasn't about sex. That's
true.
what purity culture, man. It repressed us.
Purity
Now
culture.
it's just pouring out of us now.
It's so true. I'm so glad that I have unrepressed
Yeah.
my sexuality. No thanks to the church.
No thanks to the cringy Christian church. All right. Anybody else have anything else before we wrap up?
Thank you all
No.
for having me. This was
We're
so much
so
fun.
glad that you're here.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll see
Anytime.
you in just a minute.
Yeah, you two are literally 2 rooms
Yeah,
away.
I'm just gonna walk out the door and see
Right.
them.
Beecher really just turned.
They're just literally gonna come in here. I know what they're doing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like,
they
I
are. They've appeared.
I heard an echo. Okay, real quick before we go, we will not be on next month. We are taking the month off because of where Easter falls and some traveling and stuff. Just spend those Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday with your family,
fam bams,
doing whatever. And we'll see you in May. Abby will be back. Abby, if you're still here, we love you. If you're not still here, we also love you. You can listen to it later, but we'll see everybody. That's a long time, 2 months, but we'll see everybody at the end of May, and we'll make it totally worth it. Is Beecher coming back?
Beecher is literally laying on the floor.
Oh, laying on the ground. I'm like, I didn't know. Did they go out the? Okay,
no,
Beecher's done.
They're. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.